Hey NAIA football fans, Corey Thorpe here with another edition of the NAIAFBALL Podcast, powered by AdCraft USA, your custom apparel, merch, and uniform experts. Our friends at AdCraft have been with us for many years now. They've run web stores for us multiple times. These guys are NAIA fans and family who are experts in the apparel and merchandise world. AdCraft allows you to take the hassle out of ordering. Let their knowledgeable design and customer service staff handle everything from hosting the store online, shipping the product, and helping your customers so you can get back to the game. Find them online at adcraftusa.com. All right, NAIA football fans, this is Corey Thorpe back with another edition of the NAIF Ball Podcast, powered by AdCraft Sports, Custom Apparel, and Merch, your trusted name since 1974. They are the best in the business, and this week is a little bit of a little home cooking for AdCraft Sports and Temple's Sporting Goods because we are talking to head coach Joe Woodley of Grandview. Coach, how you doing tonight?
Doing great, Corey. Appreciate you having me on. As always, it's usually a good thing when you're on this show. That means you had a good season, and of course, I enjoy listening to all the other coaches, and just with our experience of being in the playoffs, you kind of get a hear from some guys that you've gotten to coach against, and obviously I've got a great relationship with a lot of the coaches in our conference, but have certainly forged some new relationships with guys that we have been able to play in the playoffs. So I really enjoy listening to those guys, and of course you do a great job of doing your research, and it's you've really taken this thing a long way, and again, can't say how appreciative. Sure, I speak on behalf of the whole NAIA football community that we just really want to thank you for what you do.
Hey, it's our pleasure now, and I imagine it is fun. I mean, listening to some other coaches. I mean, it's not like you get to coach a whole lot against guys in like the Sooner and the North Star or the Frontier, and just getting to hear a little bit from them and what they've got going on up there gives you a little bit of different perspective on the landscape of the league.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt, and this NAI product has really grown and gotten better. I've been a part of it now for, gosh, I hate admitting it, but I've been around NAI football since 2004, and been familiar with it an even longer time, dating back to my dad's previous stops in coaching. So it's certainly come a long ways in the exposure and just how good the product really is. And you get a bunch of kids that are, in my opinion, playing this game for all the right reasons. As you're, kind of seeing at them higher levels, it's a pay for play, world we're living in, and you know, it, I'm assuming I speak for most NAIA coaches, but I don't think that's going on at any of our schools, and so again, you're just really getting the right kind of kids, and that love to play the game, and that's why I think you see a lot of these coaches that have stayed at these jobs for a while because it is so rewarding, and or at least it seems that way. I've seen a lot of good coaches, and I'm sure they've all had opportunities to move on, and but they kind of want to keep building what they're doing with where they're at, just because of how you're able to do it at this level. There's not a lot of external distractions. I mean, there's always distractions with a college kid, but at those higher levels right now, boys, it at least from my vantage point, it just looks like there's a lot of stuff, and um, you know, it just seems like it'd be tough to navigate, especially with it all being so new. And just like anything, I think time will take care of a lot of this stuff. And but again, just real thankful of the product that we have at this level.
I mean, it really is a good product, and I think you're right, and I think that um, the stuff that's going on at the levels above is really going to trickle down and impact our level in a positive light. Where we get some of the folks that are able to they don't feel like they have to ride the pine for 4 years. They can go somewhere and they can get playing time, and I think that will trickle down to us, and it already has, honestly.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And when you're at an established program, it's not quite as easy to come in and play right away as a freshman. And but every year we always have a handful of kids that do that, and we've been in those shoes before. When we started this program, you had to play a bunch of freshmen, and that was kind of what got this program, its start. Our very first game back in 2008, we had 3 weeks to prepare for a game, and we started 19 freshmen, back in 2008 when we started this program. So, been there, done that. Don't want to go back to that. And, we feel like our place is on solid footing right now. And, you've got to be pretty darn good to come in and play as a freshman or at least play, really meaningful snaps. Not that they're all not meaningful, but it's tough, and I think a lot of kids figure that out when they get to the college level. It really doesn't matter what level it is, whether it be even junior college when it's just freshmen and sophomores, or Division III or NAIA Division II, and of course, the higher up you go. I'm sure it's all relative based on the type of talent you're bringing in, but it's but there is opportunity for it. There's no doubt about that.
Well, Coach, it's another very good season for Grandview. The further we get on in the off season for conventional football, the more and more I utilize the phrase, half of the NAIA would kill to have this record, and it continues to be true. I do want to pick out a couple games just to chat about, and the first one is the only team to score more than 7 points for the first 2+ months of your season. Took place on September 3rd, early on in the season last year, a home game against Benedictine, and obviously Benedictine turned out to be a whale of a ball club last year. Did you come out of that game going, "Ooh, holy cow! I think we might have been lucky in that one"?
A little bit. We were, we kind of took control of that game early, and I guess I don't know off the top of my head, but I think we may have been up 28-6 at one time, if my mind serves me correctly. So,
You're right.
I was feeling pretty good early on in that game, and then all of a sudden we throw a pick six, and and then we turn it over again, and they score right before the half, and all of a sudden I want to say it was 28-20 at the half, and their kids were, they were starting to believe because they had some momentum swung their way, and and they get a big kick return for a touchdown, and so it was a little bit of a heavyweight fight. Benedictine's always been a really good program. They're only a few years removed from a national championship game, and we've always had great games with those guys, and of course Joel has, he's breathed some life into that place. Not that they've lost any or anything like that, but he just brought some new energy, into that place, much like any new coach will do. And he's done a really good job with that offense, in my opinion. Of really, they've got a lot of speed, and that quarterback that they had a year ago, and I'm pretty sure he's gone. At least I hope he is. Even though we do not play them this year, but he was a special player, and anytime you got a quarterback that can make plays with his feet, extend plays, they ran some design quarterback run stuff for him, and they got some dynamic receivers, and I think they were fairly young too, so I think they're going to be an issue for some teams in the future. But what that game taught me, I guess, kind of getting back to your question is, it tells you. You feel like you've got a program in a spot where they find ways to win games. They go down and kick a field goal and go up 42-41 with, I want to say 30 seconds left in the game. It didn't look very good for us, and we kind of screwed up the kick return. We threw an incomplete pass. We maybe even had a penalty, but then Johnny made a big throw to Carson Rollinger, and then he made another one. or excuse me, I think Gerald Sama may have caught the first one, or Seth Jewell. I can't remember off the top of my head, Corey, but we were kind of contemplating because I think there was about 6 seconds left in the game, and we're at a point where, like, did we throw a Hail Mary? Do we try and make one more quick pass, to set us up for a somewhat makeable field goal? Luckily for us, we've got a two-time All-American kicker. And, we decided to run one more play. It was just a speed out into the boundary, stop the clock because we were out of timeouts. And, we line up for a 52-yard field goal. And, you just kind of, take your chances there and see what your kicker's made of. And clean snap, clean hold, and, just went right over. I mean, he probably even had a little more distance on. We probably could have kicked it from a little bit further, but certainly one of those games that kind of propelled us. Our defense did not play great in that game. We installed a new scheme going into the fall this past year, and we were able to get out of that first game without really being tested too much. So we didn't really know, and that's a credit to Joel, and I know Joel's the offensive coach over there and their staff of. They put together a nice plan, and it really poked some holes in some things that we were doing, and quite honestly, it made us better down the stretch. So sometimes it's certainly better to learn a lesson after a win. Even if you didn't play very good on that side of the ball, but on the flip side, I think our offense was outstanding. I'm pretty sure we had a kick return for a touchdown. So it's just one of those games, just that's kind of the way that game was going that day. And whoever had the ball last was probably going to win. And, our kids made it happen. And I got to give credit to them. And just because they continued to believe. And that was the thing I do remember telling them, on that sideline. I didn't see anybody hanging their head. They just said, all right, let's go. We got to go do this. And, and when you have a 4-year starter at quarterback, you like your chances in that moment. And, again, Johnny's, he's put us in a lot of positions to win a lot of football games. And he certainly did that day, and just kind of got our season going. And then as you saw the year go on, you saw how well Benedictine was playing. And again, that's always been a very, good football program, a lot of wins, Larry Wilcox, a lot of tradition at that place, but certainly a fun way to end it. Probably wasn't very good for my blood pressure, but found a way to win the ball game.
And that does set you up. I mean, for that stretch run there in the playoffs, where you start off your playoff run with 2 3-point wins over Carroll and Lindsey Wilson that are defensive struggles, and a lot of your confidence in your kicker. Of course, that's that kick against Benedictine is his season long of 52 yards. But that sets you up to know and trust your defense in those games against Carroll and Lindsey, those 3-point games each. And we're going to talk about the one that I'm sure you don't particularly want to talk about, and it's going to be the Kaiser game. And I'm really curious as to your thought process going in to that game. The first couple drives, you run the ball between 2 drives 4 times, which is half of the rushing attempts you have for the rest of the game. What was kind of your thought process going in there, kind of letting Johnny air it out, being 27 for 60?
Yeah, I just think the game kind of got away from us a little bit early on, and looking back, I think coaches always second guess themselves. Maybe we could have been a little bit more patient, but at the same time, we just felt that was, and when we did try and run the ball, we weren't having much success. So we wanted to put the ball in the hands of our quarterback, who's won a lot of football games for us, and we felt that's what we needed to do at that time. But again, maybe we could have tried to establish the run a little bit more, and we just didn't. And they did a good job of working the clock, and their offense was very good that day as well. Our biggest issue that day was, especially in the first half, because we like to play field position football here, and we pin them down right away. I think we did get a first down on the opening drive, if my mind serves me correctly, but we got it to a point where we pinned them down in there in their first drive of the game. I want to say it was a 97-yard drive, somewhere in that neighborhood. Just great execution on their part. They had a nice game plan with some things, and really dynamic running back. Their quarterback was outstanding that day. They got a really good tight end, a good offensive line, and I just thought they executed really, really well, and that was evident, as we studied them on film. I just think we were playing a very, very confident team, and how the heck could you not be? They win their first game. I want to say it was at Bethel. Then of course they go upset Morningside, in the next round, and not many people. I don't know when the last time they've. Well, I guess Northwestern must have beat them there in the semis a couple years ago, but not many people go over there and beat them. And so I think they came in here with a lot of confidence. But kind of getting back to our game with them, what they did to us on third down in the first half was really the difference maker in that football game. I want to say they were 7 of 9 on third downs, and one of them I think was a 3rd and 8 or 3rd and 9 while we had them pinned down there right away on their first third down of the game. And quarterback makes a heck of a throw to their really good tight end on just kind of a smash concept route, and he threaded it right in there. Give him credit. They just made a lot of the tough plays that we didn't, and they made them over and over again. And again, you just got to tip your hat to their kids, and their running back. He was a lot better than what I anticipated. He did a lot of good things against Morningside, but when you saw him up close, he was running at a different speed. We missed a number of tackles in that game, and so that's an area we're usually pretty good in. And this kid was making us miss in space. He was breaking tackles, and all those things add up, Corey. Those just add up in a big game like that, and a lot of the times we were on the winning side of that. So it was humbling. We just we just didn't have a good day, but they had a lot to do with it, and that's what I told our guys after the game. And it was frustrating, because we had it, another opportunity to get back to that national championship game, and that was a big discussion point with our team. After what happened in 2021, guys were hungry to get back there and get another crack at it. And, we were right there. We had a chance, and we just didn't make the most of it. And, again, a lot of it's on us coaches too. We didn't prepare them well enough, obviously, and me included. It ends with me. And but our kids, they fought their tails off, and just wasn't good enough on that day, and unfortunately, sometimes in football that can happen. And but again, I just keep going back to your opponent usually has a lot to do with that.
To be fair, Jaden Meisinger did that to Division II powerhouse Valdosta State as well. So he did that a lot over the course of the season. Heck of a
Well, they had another kid that didn't play very much against us, or even the game before us. That was. That was the kid. We were worried about him getting into open space because
Burgess?
He could really run. I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but boy, was he! He was. They had some special, talented players. I was thoroughly impressed, especially when you saw him up close and personal. And I think Coach Soch has done a heck of a job down there, because I know they're not very old, but I do know that their recruiting footprint probably isn't too bad with where they're located. And but again, he's taken full advantage of that, and he's really turned that place into something special, and probably something that the NAIA is going to have to take notice of. And again, you got to give him credit for that schedule he played. Going on the road and in the playoffs all the way through, and then what they did early on in the year. I know that was a little bit of a topic of discussion on our Raiders meeting at the convention of, are we going to reward guys that go out and go play up a level? And again, that's a credit to him, and that he was willing to go do those things. And I think that gave those guys some grit and some teeth down the stretch of playing in those games early on, and because they were in all those games too. I mean, that was that was the thing. So, it's again just they've done a heck of a job.
So the Heart schedule is a little different this year. You're not playing a full round robin of all the other Heart teams this year. Does it really break your heart all that much that you don't have to play a team like a Benedictine or some of these other teams that are really really good? Nope, still
No,
nothing.
I think it's just kind of I don't know if luck of the draw is the right way to put it, but I think it's just on a rotation right now, and it just so happens our first one on our rotation is Benedictine, and really to me, I like yeah, you want at least from our perspective, you want to play in those big games, and I thoroughly enjoy playing against Benedictine because I know it's going to be a great game. It's going to bring out the best in our players, and of course they were disappointed when they heard that we weren't playing them, and because it was our turn in the rotation to go down there, or at least they were at our place last year. So had we have played them this year, to be back at their place, and pretty neat atmosphere they have for their home games, and it's always. And of course, our fans travel pretty well, so it's a packed house. It's a fun atmosphere, fun environment. We've had a lot of really really good games down there. So yeah, so that's the only one we're not playing, and I do believe we pick them back up the following year. It's just a team of year, that you have to sit out on, and really it's just done to allow guys to maybe schedule a team from another conference or schedule a higher level opponent or a money game, for lack of a better way to put it. And I think it's a good thing. We have not picked up an 11th game right now. We're trying to. We graduated a 4-year starter at quarterback, so we're going to try and take a little bit more time to figure out what we have, and at least that's the decision I made this year. Maybe I'll regret it, but I think it's what's best for us right now, and that's my job, is to kind of look out for for what's best for all of us, and that was my decision on that this year. So, but maybe in the future, I think I saw Benedictine's going to play Morningside. What a that's a really neat deal, and maybe there'll be something like that for us down the road. We've had a history of playing Drake University here. I think we've played them, I want to say, 4 times, and I want to say Northwestern might be playing them this year, but that's probably something we may look into, in the future. And but like I said, right now we're kind of trying to figure out who we are. I think every coach is this time of year, especially when you lose a quarterback, and it's kind of reinvigorating a little bit too. It's just a different feel, when you see a lot of those guys out there that you've had for so long and they're gone, and you just you're like, okay, whose turn is it now? And that's what we're doing right now in spring ball, is trying to figure out who those next guys are that are going to step up and be the next Johnny Sullivan, or whoever it was that we've had in the past. And not that they have to be the next whoever. It's just who's going to be that next leader, that next guy, playmaker, all those kinds of things. So we're trying to figure that out now, and looking forward to it.
Do you think nationally, now that we are like officially official, moving to a 20-team playoff, your worst kept secret in the nation, honestly. Um, but now that we're officially official, do you think that helps spur teams onto taking some higher level games against tougher competition, whether it be the top of the NAIA, like Benedictine's doing, or some big games against NCAA competition, like Kaiser did last year and going to Valdosta State? Knowing that there's a little bit more of a safety net there with a 20-team playoff.
Yeah, I don't know. You're still, yeah, you still want to give your kids great experiences and things like that. I certainly understand that. You want to play in a big game with a big crowd, and I guess I've kind of geared our program around getting into those playoffs. And um, but like you said, I do think the extra berths are going to help that. If you do want to play one of those games. But to my knowledge, as far as how teams are getting, rated, if you play up a level like an FCS Division 2, I don't know how much, depending upon which Division 2 it is, I suppose. Because we've had a lot of success versus Division 2 teams, that we've played here in the past, and we've beaten Drake, who's FCS, but they're non-scholarship. So, are those Raiders really looking at those guys like they're a higher level or not? I don't think they are. So, I think you better be careful with that. But you can see how, you look back at kind of how the ratings have been. Northwestern always kind of stays towards the top because, or at least in recent memory, their only regular season loss is usually to Morningside, and they don't get bumped very far because those are really good games, and they should get rewarded for that. So, um, but I don't know. You might see that. I guess I'm not sure how it'll all play out, but I do think it's a good thing, for this level because really, you know, it just seems like there's always a couple teams that you feel, boy, gosh, they probably should have got in. But then it just becomes now it's just going to be a new line. You know what I mean? And that's really what the more you get, it's just like the NCAA tournament. They're all the way up to at least I'm talking basketball, it's up to 68 now, and there's still a handful of teams complaining when it was 64 for so many years, and so I just think there's always going to be some drama surrounded by that. But at the end of the day, if you take care of business, you win your conference. You've got, and if you don't, you got nobody to blame but yourselves. So I think I thought it worked with how it was. You win your league, you get in, and if you're kind of ranked high enough, which means you've got a proven track record, you get those one of those few at-large spots. But I think it'll be fine. Adding the four teams, and I'm curious to see how that all shakes out. And the kind of the neat part I think that's involved is you get if you are one of those, I want to say top 12 or however it's going to go down. I guess I'm not 100% sure, but you get that bye week, right at the end of the year, so to kind of rest up. And I do think that's certainly a positive, because when we won our national title in 2013, we had a bye week before our play. Our bye week was the last game everybody was playing and we were off, and then we still had another week, for that first round game. So kind of like that.
We've gone about 30-ish minutes here. We haven't yet talked actually about your team, but I mean we've talked around your team. I mean, just
Yeah.
to kind of give folks an idea, you are bringing back a lot of offensive skill players, whether it be Allie Scott, Avery Gates, at your running back, Avery Gates also with 2 kick return touchdowns on the season. Damon Street with 850-ish yards on offense from the wide receiver position. 2 first-team all-conference offensive linemen. Defense, you're bringing back guys like Kai Mosley and Seth Adrian and Nate Ewell there, and Tristan Waugh. I mean, I can't forget him. The only spot where you've really got a hole that you've got to fill really is going to be in your secondary. Talk to me about finding dudes who can cover.
Yeah. Pretty important position, and again, that's what spring practice, and it tells you a lot about the kids that have been in your program, that are they ready to step up. And we've got 2 kids that are they're both going into their 3rd year of college at Grandview, and they've kind of waited their turn. and we're pretty confident in them. They both played a lot a year ago. They may not have been the starters, but they got a lot of quality playing time. And one of them probably would have played a little bit more had he not gotten injured last year. He got injured right before the season started in one of our off-season activities, and didn't get him back till about the bye week. And he slowly worked back in. But up until then, he probably would have had a heck of a chance to be one of our starters out at corner. And so he's back. He's healthy. Knock on wood. He's had a great spring so far. You mentioned you lose a safety like Gianni, who was a really good player for us. Really a 4-year starter, almost three-year starter for sure. Kind of got forced into action as a true freshman, but he was ready for that opportunity. So anytime you lose experience like that, it's tough. But we've got our other safety that's back, that has played a lot of football for us, started for us a year ago, Patrick Savage, and still trying to work out, the other corner spot and a safety spot, but pretty confident with where we're at and who we have right now in the spring. And of course, you mentioned, some guys we have back up front. We're real excited to have back. Tristan Wall was I don't know if he was honorable mention All-American or not, but one of the better defensive players in our league. Kaim Mosley's been about a 4-year starter. He's about to be a 5th-year starter, and Aaron Brown, who he started in the national championship game for us at D tackle. Seth Adrian's been a great player for us, and of course Nate Ewell, probably one of our more dynamic football players we have on our team right now, and he was the unanimous pick at linebacker for all conference in our league, and had a great year last year, even with a kind of a position switch. We moved him from inside to outside, and very dynamic player. And we're pretty excited about what we got coming back on defense. Just have to kind of figure out a couple pieces here and there, and I'm pretty confident that we'll be pretty productive on that side of the ball.
Well, Coach, before I let you go, we know that if we're not improving in life, we're falling behind. It's just a fact of life. So what area of your program, whether it be on the field or off the field, are y'all really looking to focus in on and improve on in 2023?
Yeah, I think I think that term culture is thrown around quite a bit right now within. Well, it doesn't matter what level it is, and I think you're just always trying to improve that. But and I just think if you get yourself surrounded by a bunch of good people, I think that takes care of itself. I don't think you can manufacture that, and I think we have gotten the right kind of kids in this program. We've got great coaches on this staff. We've got a lot of guys on this staff that either played for Grandview or have been with us for a very long time. So, I think we're all on the same page, and I think our players see that. We hold them to a pretty high standard, pretty disciplined program. I take great pride in that. Guys, they have to be accountable for their actions, and they know that. And, we don't have too many guys that that step out of line, and it just tells me we've got the right kind of kids. They've been raised very well by their parents, and that's kind of how we continue to strive to to build this thing, and just real proud of it, and proud of the success that we've had, and just looking forward to the future, and hopefully, I think I mentioned last time I was on here, we should have a pretty good idea this summer, to my knowledge, of kind of getting our own facility, stadium. I think those things are coming, and I think that will immensely improve our product, even though our product is really good. But I think that could maybe take us to another level. I really do, and I'm excited to see what it does when it comes, and hopefully it comes sooner rather than later.
Well, when you do, you'll have to give me a new picture.
There you go. No problem.
Thanks for coming on tonight. I always appreciate you, and always have an absolute blast chatting with you. And Can't wait to see what Grandview has in store for us in 2023.
All right, Corey. Appreciate you, man. Thanks.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the NAIAFBALL Podcast presented by AdCraft USA. Be sure to contact them for all your custom apparel, merch, and uniform needs. If you enjoy the show, subscribe to the podcast as well as to our YouTube channel. Leave us a review if you're listening on Apple Podcasts. As always, if you'd like to support what we do, head over to patreon.com/NAIAFBALL and become a patron. We can't do what we do without our sponsors and listeners like you.